Greetings friends and welcome back to my channel. In this video I would like us to look at a number of pairs which I did not share yesterday, and these ones are also good pairs which I think will be doing very well in the remaining part of this month, and most likely the whole of this year we shall be seeing these pairs performing very well. So yesterday I shared about I think there are about 9 pairs, and today I'm sharing 10 pairs in addition to what I shared yesterday. So let's get into it and we see what we have to consider. First of all, I would like us to take note that I'm using daily charts for all these pairs that I'm sharing in this video, and we are starting with AUD Swiss franc. AUD Swiss franc, this is the daily chart for this pair, and we can see that it has been in consolidation for some good time, and you can see on my screen all the way from July the pair has been in consolidation, just basically moving between this upper zone and this lower zone. So all these days or all these months that we have covered in this consolidation, we can see that the last day of last week, which was Friday, was able to consume or to destroy all that has been happening previously. With one candle, we can see that all these ones have been eaten up. So this to me is momentum to the downside, which means that most likely sellers are stepping in one more time to push this pair downwards for more weeks or more months. We, of course, have already noted that this pair has been selling for many years, and still, to me, this candle is an indication that sellers are willing to continue with this trend. So come next week or come tomorrow, what I'd like to see is a pullback of this candle being consumed. So if price can move up, consume this candle, and then give me some setups that point to the downside, for me, I'll be looking for an entry around this zone to sell, believing that price will come again to take out this level and continue downwards if possible, printing a new lower low. But primarily, when I sell in this zone, I'll be targeting this key level or the previous low of this consolidation phase. And then if it is broken, that means that the selling will be continuing the downside for more months. The other option, of course, that we cannot ignore is that price may choose to proceed from where it is and continue downwards before giving us the pullback. But as I said, I prefer to see this pullback, and once this pullback happens, in my opinion, we will be looking for an entry to the downside. So let's look at another pair. This is CAD Swiss franc. CAD Swiss franc, we can see that it has been moving to the downside for some good time, just like we have seen AUD Swiss franc. This pair has also been moving to the downside for very many years. Again, we can still see that the trend is to the downside. There is no any significant sign that shows that buyers are in control. So to me, sellers are still in control, and therefore all opportunities that we are looking for currently are pointing to the downside. So looking at what has been happening in the previous weeks, we have been making new lower lows and lower highs, new lower lows and lower highs on a daily chart. And in my opinion, looking at this momentum that we had on Friday, it's highly likely that sellers will continue pushing to the downside before giving us any significant pullback that may go up to over 200-300 pips. So most likely in this coming week, we may get a simple pullback that takes out this candle, and after that, around this zone, we may see sellers stepping in one more time to push CAD Swiss franc to the downside, and if possible to print a new lower low. Of course, it is also possible to see that this pair may fail to give us a strong pullback into this zone, and instead we see sellers continuing from where price is, pushing to the downside to make a new lower low. That possibility cannot be ruled out. But as I said, I always prefer to first have some reasonable pullbacks before I enter. So if we get a pullback into this zone, at least taking out this candle coming towards this area, in my opinion, I would be looking for best selling setups to sell, believing that price will come to break this zone and print a new lower low. Let's look at the next pair that we have in this video, and that is Swiss franc JPY. We can see that this pair has been moving up for some good time. Recently, I think I shared a video on Friday for this very pair, Swiss franc JPY, using the daily chart, and I think I also used the weekly chart to show how this pair has been moving for very many years to the upside. So for me, when I saw this gap on a daily chart, I took it as an exhaustion gap, or what I may call an over tiredness gap. So believing that price is likely to begin pushing to the downside for some good time, and it's highly likely that the trend may end up changing from bullish to bearish. But for now, the main trend is still considered bullish, and therefore, even as we try to sell, we believe that we will be doing counter trend trades, of course, which are very risky. Doing counter trend trades are very, very risky, and they are not recommended for especially those who are not very experienced in the market. Otherwise, we still consider that the main trend is bullish, and therefore trading it in that direction or in that trend means that what is likely to happen is that the pullback may continue into this zone, and once price reaches in this zone, we shall watch carefully to see if buyers will step in one more time to push price upwards, and that will be giving us an opportunity to buy. But in case price instead continues the downside and breaks this level, and if possible this level, that means that what we predicted on Friday and what we shared in the video that we had on Friday, which is a sign of possible weaknesses on the side of buyers, to me it will be prevailing. Otherwise, in case price fails in this zone and instead bounces upwards, it means, or it will mean, that the buyers are still in control and are willing to push CHFJPY upwards, and to me, we will still trade this pair very, very carefully. Of course, the other alternative that we cannot avoid is in case price fails to close this gap and instead moves upwards from where we closed it last week. That possibility is also there, but I wouldn't run after it. In case I want to buy, the only option I would look for is a continuation of this move to the downside, calling it a reasonable pullback, and then getting stuck in this zone, printing bullish setups so that I can buy at least in this zone. Otherwise, for me, as long as price has not reached this zone, I don't think I will be looking for buying opportunities for CHFJPY. And as I said, in case it continues the downside, then the idea that we shared in the video of Friday most likely will be prevailing. Let's look at another pair. This is EURCAD. EURCAD, according to what we have here on the daily chart, we can see that price is strongly bullish. And looking at what happened on Friday with this strong candle that was able to take out these previous 2 days, in my opinion, price is indicating that buyers are still willing to continue pushing upwards, and therefore when the week opens, as long as the market has opened, we may see a pullback of this Friday's candle, or a pullback that will take out the price of the price of Friday back into this zone, and then we get a buying opportunity or buying setups pushing upwards to come and take out this level, print a new higher high. It is also possible that price may not even give us a pullback. When the market opens, we may see price continuing upwards without the pullback. But if in case it gives us a pullback, to me, that pullback is likely to turn into a very nice discount for the buyers. So if price comes back into this zone, in my opinion, I'll be looking for setups that point to the upside. Let's look at another pair, and this is EURJPY. EURJPY seems to be behaving in the same way like all other JPY pairs, because we can see that on a daily chart, price has been moving up, and indeed it has been buying for some good number of years, and recently we saw this gap happening. So in my opinion, I think this gap is an exhaustion gap still, and I believe that in case this gap is to be successful as an exhaustion gap, price is likely to come and close the gap and then continue downwards to break this zone, break this key level, and continue to the downside. That is in case this exhaustion gap succeeds. But of course, if it fails, the main trend to me is still bullish as of now, and we may see price fading in this zone. After closing the gap, buyers may take control and push price again upwards. It is also possible to see price fading to close the gap, and instead it jumps up from where it is. We see buyers pushing price above this previous key level to print a new higher high. As I said, EURJPY, the trend is still bullish, and therefore what we are looking for are buying opportunities, not selling opportunities as of now. So when price moves the downside and gets stuck into this area, I'll be looking for setups that point to the upside. In case it continues to the downside, then I'll be careful to see what will be happening, especially next week. But for this week, I'm only focusing on how price will react when it reaches this zero zone. My interest is to look for buying opportunities. Let's look at another pair. This is Euro New Zealand dollar. Euro New Zealand dollar, according to what I can see, the trend is still strongly bullish, but according to what we have now, we can see that Friday ended in this key level where it failed from previously. So I would like to see a pullback to the downside. This pullback should take out this level. It should come close or towards this very zone, and in my opinion, I'll be looking for buying opportunities, believing that price will go up and break this key level, print a new higher high for Euro New Zealand dollar. It's also possible price not to give us this pullback, and instead we see it pushing from where it is, continuing upwards. I would of course be so much interested in this pullback. Let price come into this zone and I buy. But as I said, since the bullish trend is still strong, it's possible for this pullback to be skipped or to be ignored, and instead buyers push this pair upward. So we shall be watching what will be happening. But my interest, my best opportunity, or my best desire and my best plan indeed for this very pair in Euro New Zealand dollar is to see this strong pullback that will confuse the buyers, and then that will confuse the sellers, and of course some buyers. And then once it gets stuck into this zone and prints my setup, switch point to the upside, for me, I'll be looking to buy Euro New Zealand dollar. Let's look at another pair, and that is Great Britain Pound Swiss franc. This is one of the pairs that I am now carefully trading, because I believe that it has been selling for so many years, and the chances are high that we will be getting a the change of trend anytime soon. But for now, the main trend is still bearish, and therefore the opportunities we are looking for are pointing to the downside. What we have on a daily chart is that price left this zone, it moved up. It came down, created a double bottom, and moved up one more time. It did not succeed pushing upwards, and according to Friday, we can see that we had some strong selling momentum. So what I would like to see when the week opens for this very pair, Great Britain pound, Swiss franc, is a pullback first. If I can get a pullback of this Friday's candle, and I see price getting stuck in this zone, the chances are very low that we may get set up switch point to the downside. And for me, I will be looking for selling opportunities around this zone, believing that price will come back at least to this previous level, or even breaking it and creating a new lower low. In case price chooses to continue upwards and taking out this level, I'll first look, I'll be aside and still look for setup that point to the downside, which most likely will be for next week, not this week. For this very week, my idea is to sell and selling around this zone. So as long as we are still in this week, I'm not interested in looking for buying opportunities. In any case, the trend is still bearish. Therefore, all I need are pullbacks and selling opportunities or selling setups. It's possible, again, to see price moving from where it is, continuing to the downside without giving us a pullback. But as I said, I'm so much interested in the pullbacks. Therefore, I'll be looking for a pullback, at least price coming into this zone, before I can look for my setups that point to the downside. And as I said, it's a pair that I'm trading very carefully. And even if price reaches this zone, I'll try to be very careful before I enter, because this pair may even give us one single candle that may take us strongly, take out this level and close above it. If it closes above it, that means I'll first stay aside and wait for what happens next week. Let's look at the next pair. This is Great Britain pound JPY. This pair, according to what I can see on a daily chart, like any other JPY pair that we have already seen, we have this gap. Price moved up, it got into a consolidation, moved down, and gapped upwards. To me, this is likely to turn into an exhaustion gap, which may give us a change of trend or a strong pullback, and therefore we need to trade this pair carefully also. In fact, all JPY pairs need to be carefully traded. So what do we expect when the week opens? I would like to see this gap being closed, price continuing into this gap. Once the gap is closed, I'll be looking for setups which point to the upside. In case price continues the downside, taking this level out, and I will be looking at this key level. If price reaches this key level, I'll be looking for setups that point to the upside. In case price violates this level again and breaks it downwards, I'll first stay aside and wait for next week to see what will be happening, especially when we are analyzing during next weekend. So what I'm looking at for now is, or for this week, is I would like to see this gap being closed, and I will be looking for setups that point to the upside in this zone or slightly below, like in this area. In case price chooses to bounce from here before giving us or before closing this gap, that opportunity or that alternative cannot be ruled out. It's also possible. So we will be seeing what will happen, but preferably I would like to see this gap being closed, this one here, and then buying takes place around this area or around this area. This to me is my last alternative, where price, instead of closing the gap, chooses to go upwards from where it closed on Friday. Let's look at another pair, and this is Great Britain pound, New Zealand dollar. This pair again is strongly bullish, like Euro New Zealand dollar. We on a daily chart can see that the pair has been strongly bullish, buying strongly, buying strongly, buying strongly. So what I would like to see, since price is already in the key level, come next week or when the market opens, is I would like to see price giving me a pullback. This pullback should take out this level. It should come close to this key level or into this key level around this area. And once price reaches this area, I'll be looking for my setups at point to the upside. So what I would like to see first is the pullback. Once I get the pullback, I'll be looking for setups to buy Great Britain pound, New Zealand dollar. It's also possible to see no pullback, and instead we see price moving from where it is, continuing upwards to make a new higher high. That alternative cannot be set apart. It's also possible, but as I'm always saying, I'm interested in the pullback first, and then this pullback should confuse the buyers and the sellers, and once it gets stuck into this area, I'll be looking for my buying setups and believing that price will come to break this level and print a new higher high. Let's look at another pair, and this is New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. Now, New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc has been selling for many years, and even now, what we saw on Friday is an indication that this pair is still continuing the downside for some good months. So what I would like to see when the week opens is this price or this candle of Friday being consumed. I'd like to see a pullback that takes away this candle, and if price can get stuck in this zone, I'll be looking for selling setups. In case price chooses to break this zone and continue upwards, most likely that will be taking us to next week's opportunities, and this week I am only interested in this zone. If price gets into this area, I'll look to sell. If it continues upwards within this week, I'll still be looking for selling opportunities as long as we are still in this weekly trend. For New Zealand dollar Swiss franc is still bearish, and therefore all my opportunities I'm looking for are pointing to the downside. So we will see how it will perform. But as I said, I prefer to see a pullback and then I sell in this zone or slightly above. In case price chooses to continue from where it is without giving us a pullback and continue downwards instead, that also cannot be ruled out. Otherwise, I think these are the 10 pairs that I could share in this video, and yeah, the rest I've already shared in the video of yesterday, and we will see how they'll perform. Those that have not shared in this video and those that were not shared in yesterday's video, I think to me they are not good pairs, especially for this month, and we will see if they will appear in the coming months, especially in November. We'll see if they will appear on the list. But for now, these are the only ones I'm able to share, and I hope we will benefit from them. Otherwise, if you have not yet subscribed, I would like to request you to subscribe to my channel. And I'm so much interested in working with traders who are trend traders, or those who like holding for as long as it takes. These videos which I make will be so helpful for those who are willing to hold for long, traders who like to hold as long as the trend is still continuing, because most of these pairs that I'm sharing will be giving 500 pips and above, and most of them actually will be going to 1000 pips. But of course, this takes time, and some of them will be running for 1 year to 5 years or even more in one direction. So let's see how price will be performing this remaining part of the month. Otherwise, God bless you.